Hey everyone, what's up? GarageKing here. Today we have two problems with this Acura MDX. We got the low pressure light, so not a big deal. One of our tires is low, we can fill that up. But we got our B1 maintenance service. So if you want to know how to do the B1 maintenance service on an Acura MDX, stay tuned because we're going to do it. Okay, so B maintenance, what exactly does B maintenance mean on an Acura MDX? So the B maintenance means you're going to replace your engine oil and filter, service front and rear brakes, inspect parking brake adjustments, inspect tie rod ends, steering gear box and boots, inspect suspension components, inspect drive shaft boots, inspect brake hoses and lines, check all fluid levels, condition of fluids, and check for leaks. Inspect the exhaust, inspect fuel lines and connections. Now, the 1 on the B1 just means we're going to rotate the tires. So that's what the sub 1 means. Now, in some newer models, it just means, this one's a 2014, but on some of the newer ones, you just have to check the expiration date of the tire inflator. That's the only difference. I was checking up to the newest MDXs I could find, and that's the only thing. So if you have a tire inflator, just check it. But other than that, that's what it means. So now we're just going to fill up our tire because we know we had a low tire, plus it's part of the service. So we're just going to do this quick, and then we're going to get to the rest of the service. Okay, so here you can see we have the front wheel off. I'm panning out. It's very easy, front wheel off. We can see here's our brakes. There's our oil filter back in there. Really easy. We can do a brake check. So here's our brake hoses. We're going to check, make sure that our hoses are all good, nothing's damaged, and they all appear really, really good. We're going to pan over here. We're going to take a look at our CV boots. So CV boots are good on this side. This is how you would check them. And you just make sure there's no grease anywhere. Now, if they were split, you would see grease flinging around. You would see it would definitely be wet, and there's no wetness there. We pan to the interior boot, and you can see there is a little bit of oil coating right there. It just kind of comes off, but nothing leaking, like no major grease or anything like that. And even if we pan in further, there's our oil filter, nice and dry, and there's the back of our engine. It looks nice and dry. So let's undo our oil filter. A lot of times we can get these undone by hand, but I need both hands to undo it. And there we go. It's loose. And you can see there, it's draining down there. And there, our oil filter is off. Just like so. So we got a nice brand new oil filter. Now we want to make sure that we lube our filter oil ring with just some nice clean oil. You can see it's actually moving there, but we just want to put some clean oil on it. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm just going to take a little wipe here. We're going to make sure that there's no foreign debris or anything here. New filter. And we are just going to spin it on. There we go, and once we hit it, we can tell we've, the seal has made contact. You only need about 3/4 of a turn just to snug it up good, and then we will be good. There you go, oil filter has changed, and now we just take our rag and we're gonna wipe all along the frame here, and then we're gonna go underneath and drain the engine. We're looking underneath the vehicle right now. So what we're gonna do while we're underneath is we're going to do a quick exhaust check because we just want to make sure our exhaust's okay, it doesn't sound noisy. So there's our oxygen sensor right in front of the motor. Here is our exhaust. We're going to pan right down. There's our catalytic converter. That looks good. The bolts aren't rusted off just yet. Sometimes those bolts get rusted off. As we continue to slide down further, here's our resonator, I guess. Still looks like it's in good shape. You can see it's starting to, the flanges are starting to rust, but no leak yet. And then here we have our muffler. And it is an Acura MDX, but it does say Honda. So go figure. Okay, so here's the rear, and it is looking fine. And one thing I like to do underneath is I like to just take a look at the frame, everything like that, see if we have excessive rust starting. And we don't have anything like that starting, so we look up here. Fine and dandy. There's our spare tire. There we have a little bit of rust there. Again, nothing major. And we're gonna check our CV boots down here and all our hoses. We have no leaks by the differential. There's our inner CV boot. It looks fine. Weird looking CV boots on these things, by the way. And then here is our brake cables. Nothing, no brackets are broken, nothing like that. And if I pan back, you'll see there's the rear differential. It's actually quite a big differential, but anyway, dry on the bottom, not seeing any leaks. So let's get back to our oil. We know the underside looks great. So let's drain the oil out. 14 millimeter wrench for this. I think it's quite tight. Maybe it's just my angle I'm underneath. So let's get our 14 mil socket on, just like so. There we go. So it is drain plug inspection time, and there we go. This is the best angle to get. So that's what we have on it. So let's give it a wipe and see if it's actually grit or what it might be. I'm just gonna. There we go, and we've wiped it off, and we can see there a little bit. I don't know if it's picking it up. Phone keeps reflecting it, but I can see there's tiny particles, but really not that much. So we're back underneath, and we're just gonna put our drain plug back. A lot of people, when they do oil changes, they don't drain it complete enough, so it's always best to get as much as you possibly can. 14 mil wrench or socket. Wrench is probably better to snug it up, this way you don't over tighten it. And there we go. Oil change portion has been completed. Okay, we are at the rear brake rotors, and that's what they look like there. Rear brakes, actually we're gonna need pads. Let's see if I can pan around to the back, give you a better view of the pad. There you go, you can see what's left in there, and there's actually not a whole lot. We might have a little bit left, but sometimes when you pull these things out, they're wearing unevenly and stuff like that, so it's hardly worth servicing the brakes. So part of the B1 is to service the rear brakes, but what we're going to do is we're not going to service the rear brakes. What we're going to do at a later date is we're just going to replace them all, because then when I replace them, I'm going to have to service them anyway, so it saves no need to service them twice. So this is a photo of the rear, or sorry, picture of the rear. Let's go take a look at the front. And here we'll pan in, give a good view of the front brakes here. We can see there's really not much left on them. They're getting pretty thin, so just like the rear. So what we'll be doing is we'll be doing another video on Acura brake replacement. And this one's gonna get rotors too, because the pedal's vibrating. There's CV boots, everything in there. We've checked the fuel lines, we've sort of exhaust, we've gone over everything, and that's really what a B service is. It's just looking over everything. So we're gonna put our wheels back on and we're gonna fill it back up with oil. Okay, we're under the hood of the vehicle, and we're gonna put 020 in. That's what this vehicle calls for. Here's our oil dipstick. So we'll pull that out. Here's the oil fill cap. And it says right on there, 0W20. Okay, we're getting near the nitty gritty, getting near the end. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna undo our filler cap. There we go. All right, now we're gonna put a funnel in here just like so. And there we go. I find these Acuras take close to, well actually they take, most of the time they take over 5 liters, so you really gotta, and that's not good. We're spilling a bit there, spilling a bit there. I thought it was gonna start slopping, but not a huge deal. We'll just make sure we wipe it up before it drips everywhere, and always wipe in here this way, because we don't want any sand or anything going into our funnel. So I'll just have to pour it a different way. I was hoping to pour it that way for the camera, but no, sorry if I blocked a bit, but anyway, this is how we're gonna have to pour it to start. Okay, and we put about half of it in, so we should be able to adjust our angle of pouring now so you can see better. Just in the beginning, I guess that's just how it worked out. So we're gonna put our dipstick in, give it a wipe everywhere, make sure we're okay. And let's see where we are. And we're not even touching the dipstick. So now we can pour some more on, and we should be okay to pour directly on into the funnel now, yeah. Now that it's gone down a bit. And you know what, we'll just pour the whole thing in. That's a full 5-liter jug. There we go. And that's everything. Just before we start it, one of the other things about the B service is just checking all the fluids. So what we can do is we can pan over here and we can see there's our brake fluid. And if I wiggle it like so, you can see there's our brake fluid. So we're still okay, we got some brake fluid. We're gonna be flushing that anyway once we do the front brakes, which we've learned it's needed, actually front and rear. And then here, down here, we should have our transmission way down there. There you go, there's our transmission plug. Maybe I can throw up an arrow right there just to show you where it is. There we go, there's our transmission plug. We don't have to have the vehicle running, we just pull it out and check it. So we can do that. Let's just pull it out and check it. There we go. And if we look at it, yeah, we're okay. We're between the marks right there. There you go, we can see. So we are okay. So now let's go in and now we can run it and check it. I should say, if people aren't aware, now normally they never require topping up, but it's good to check. I can see our antifreeze level is fine. It's down here. I know it's very tight to see. There you go. There you can see there's the amount. So we're between the levels. So that's good. And then the other thing, there is no power steering fluid to check on this vehicle because this vehicle does have electronic steering, so no power steering fluid to check. Okay, so now we're gonna start it up, and if you noticed the oil light, it'll take a while to go off for a second, just while it fills the oil filter. There we go. So we're waiting for that to go off. There we go, oil filter's off, so that's good. Now what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna reset, the light. So how do we do that on an Acura? Well, we do it from, if we pan back, the main menu right here. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to go into settings. There we go, we can pan up there. And then we can go into vehicle settings. Trip A, reset timing. Trip B, turn on display. There's a whole bunch of stuff in there. There we go, right at the bottom, maintenance reset. So we want to go okay. So in order to go okay, this screen's not touch screen, so we use this. I'm going to push the enter button. So push the enter button. There we go. B1, oil and filter and tire rotation. It actually tells you pretty much. So we're going to push down here to show down there. So we're going to push down. There we go. Now we want to reset that. Now would you like to reset the information showing we have 5% left? So we're going to turn the knob this way to go to reset, so we can go cancel or reset, but we want to reset it. Then we're going to push the button in. There we go, oil life 100%, and if we pan over here, we are good. So now when I go up here to all of our other things, oil life 100%, we are all reset. So we're in good shape and our service is done. If you have any questions, please leave them below. And that's about it. Now the only thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to check the oil one last time and top it up. But other than that, over and out, and I will see you on the next one.